Let's talk about retail fashion. It's an industry that lives and breathes change. But here's the tough question. With so much focus on transformation, why do so many big projects just fail? Today, we're going to dig into why that happens. And, more importantly, we're going to look at a way to finally get it right. Because let's be real, in this business, getting it right isn't a luxury. It's about survival.
So yeah, this is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that keeps executives up at night. You pour in all the money, you get the teams fired up, you launch these huge, ambitious programs, and then you watch them sort of run out of steam. And what's left behind? A whole lot of frustration and a completely exhausted organization. Why does this keep happening?
Well, the answer really starts with understanding the unique, beautiful chaos of this industry. Fashion operates in this constant state of urgency. I mean, think about it for a second. Product life cycles are measured in weeks, not years. Demand can change completely because of one viral post. You've got these incredibly complex global supply chains, and on top of it all, this relentless, crushing pressure on your margins. It is a daily high-wire act, and there is absolutely no safety net.
And this right here is where we find the real problem. You have to look behind the curtain, because behind every single collection, there's this hidden, tangled web of decisions that all depend on each other. Design, merchandising, sourcing, inventory, they're all tightly woven together. A tiny delay in one place can create a massive tidal wave of problems somewhere else. And this is the key. Performance isn't about one department doing well, it's about the entire system, the whole shebang, working in perfect sync.
So all of this hidden complexity, it creates the perfect conditions for something we call fashion's transformation trap. Let's walk through the most common ways that even the smartest companies get stuck.
So, the first trap is a bit of a paradox. Siloed optimization. Picture this. Your merchandising team gets a bonus for creating the widest possible product range. Awesome. Your supply chain team is being praised for slashing logistics costs. Great. And your e-commerce team is crushing its traffic goals. Individually, everybody's a winner. But as a whole, the business is actually losing ground. This is exactly what happens when teams are focused on winning their little battle, not the overall war.
And what's fueling these silos? So often, it's conflicting KPIs. The system itself is actually designed to make teams fight each other. I mean, when you're rewarding the merch team for more options and the supply chain team for less cost, you've created a conflict that's baked right into the org chart. It's like having two people trying to drive the same car, each with their own steering wheel, both pulling in opposite directions. The result? Total gridlock.
Oh, and we've all seen this one, right? The company makes a massive investment in some shiny new piece of technology, a PLM, an ERP, a fancy analytics platform. It's pitched as the silver bullet that's going to fix everything. But if you just layer that expensive tech on top of the existing chaos, what do you get? You just get faster chaos. All you've done is automate a fundamentally broken process.
And what's the human cost of all of this? It's this deep, deep change fatigue. Just think about your best people. They're being dragged through one initiative after another, one reorg after another, and they never see any real measurable improvement. They don't just get tired, they get cynical, they burn out. And pretty soon, the very word transformation becomes a joke, and that makes any kind of future change next to impossible.
So let's be perfectly clear. The failure isn't because of a lack of ambition. It's not about a lack of effort or lack of talent. The failure happens for one simple reason. The very logic of how performance is actually created and how it gets destroyed is invisible. The organization is literally flying blind.
So, if the big problem is invisibility, then the solution becomes pretty obvious, doesn't it? We have to find a way to make performance visible.
And that's exactly where Organizational Performance Mapping, or OPM, comes into play. You can think of it as a powerful way to make your entire company, well, visible. It's a structured method for mapping out how your big picture strategy actually connects to the day-to-day work people are doing and the reality of how your operations run.
And this slide really says it all, doesn't it? On the left, that's the reality for most companies. This tangled, hidden mess of connections. It's a world built on guesswork, assumptions, and old habits. But on the right, that's what you get with OPM. It's no longer a tangled mess. It's a clear, data-driven map of your business. It becomes the single source of truth that everybody can finally look at and understand together.
To put it really simply, OPM takes what the company says it does on paper and translates it into how it truly performs in the real world. It's all about cutting through years of bias, politics, and corporate myths to create one shared, objective view of how work actually gets done and where value is really being created, or where it's being lost.
So once you have this newfound visibility, everything changes.
You can finally stop just launching random projects and start deliberately building the capabilities you need to win for the long haul. Let's look at how that actually works.
Okay, so at the highest level, at the organizational level, OPM gives you incredible clarity on which capabilities are truly strategic. It forces you to answer that critical question: what do we as a company need to be absolutely world-class at in order to win? So instead of trying to be good at everything, you can make targeted bets on the things that really move the needle. Like, say, demand sensing, which is all about reading market signals in real time. Or having true discipline in your range architecture, the art and science of building a profitable collection.
Then OPM lets you zoom right into your teams and even individual roles. By mapping out exactly who owns which decisions and who is accountable for what, you can finally design jobs with real clarity. You can slash the friction between departments and empower your people to make faster, better decisions. That constant nagging question of, hey, who actually owns this? It finally gets a real answer.
Now for product. OPM becomes the connective tissue that holds everything together. It builds this clear, visible bridge from your high-level brand strategy all the way down to the nitty-gritty of option planning and the hard realities of your supply chain. And the result? Well, you stop chasing an endless number of options and you start creating fewer, better products that have a much, much higher chance of being a hit.
And what about the customer in all this? Their experience is often this broken, fragmented journey across your stores, your website, your call centers, your whole returns process. OPM lets you map that entire journey from their perspective, but, and this is the magic part, it overlays it on top of your internal processes, and boom, it immediately shows you all the cracks, all the points of friction and inconsistency that are frustrating your customers and secretly driving up your costs. And all of these insights, from strategy all the way to the customer experience, they all come together right here. They feed directly into designing a target operating model that actually works in the real world. Because that new model is built on a deep, factual understanding of how your business really runs, it becomes a blueprint you can actually execute, not just another theoretical document that's going to sit on a shelf and gather dust.
All right, for our final section, let's pull all the way back and look at the big picture here, because this approach, it fundamentally changes what transformation even means.
And this might be the single most important shift of all. OPM takes transformation from being this big, disruptive, painful, one-off project that everybody dreads, and it turns it into a continuous, embedded capability. It's no longer some special program, it just becomes transformation as usual. It becomes part of the company's DNA, an ongoing cycle of learning, adapting, and getting better.
And this all leads to a really powerful conclusion. For decades, the entire retail fashion industry has been obsessed with understanding the customer. And that's great. But in today's world, lasting success is going to belong to the organizations that can finally turn that intense focus inward and understand themselves with that exact same level of depth and clarity.
And organizational performance mapping is where that deep self-understanding truly begins. It's the key that lets you make your performance visible, build the capabilities that really matter, and finally transform your organization with genuine confidence.